Strategy 3 is to hire and develop a family-focused staff. This starts with hiring staff that have experience or background with family engagement. Work with members of your local community that you recruit from to see what their awareness or thoughts are about what it means to be a member of the community and what families in this community need. And in your interview process, ask questions about family engagement. That signals from even before day one that family engagement is an important issue for you. And plus, you might hear some things that are very interesting to you as a prospective employer. Hire staff that have similar backgrounds and experiences to the families. The more that your program staff are reflective of the community that they work in, the more comfortable families are going to be, and the more easy and natural it's going to be to create a sort of empathetic bridge between program staff and parents. So as much as possible, let the languages, the cultures, the ethnicities of your various staff reflect the diversity and subtlety of the community that you work in. And ask staff to think about the things they have in common with parents rather than thinking about the things that are different. Everybody has things different from every other person out there, but everybody also has things in common with every other person out there. So figuring out what those commonalities are and being curious about what the commonalities are as a starting point is generally going to build a stronger relationship than starting by focusing on the differences. Then also professional development is a very important element of having a strong and robust family engagement component in your program. So good job you, because here you are doing professional development about family engagement, but having informal dialogues with the rest of the team about connecting to families and the community, talking about different experiences with different parents is beneficial, and making sure that staff are comfortable and trained with what kinds of situations might arise and how to handle those situations leads to more comfort in interacting, which in turn builds stronger relationships. Some concrete ways to hire and train a family-focused staff. When you're interviewing, ask candidates to talk about their experience working with families and also ask them what they think you could be doing better in your program or how your program could be more effective or successful in family engagement. That will give you a lot of information, both about how that staff member thinks about family engagement and also about how that staff member thinks about creative problem solving in general. Also, invite a family engagement expert or a trainer to come in and talk to the staff. This can be anything from a formal training opportunity to an informal facilitated dialogue around the table with the team, talking about what it looks like to connect to the families in your particular program. And offer programs like exercise classes, art workshops, first aid courses. One that I saw that I thought was pretty neat was a yoga course, a yoga class after the program hours ended that parents and staff could take together. Creating opportunities for personal growth that the staff and the parents can participate in side by side creates a unique bond where learning together is happening, and both staff and parents are sort of put on equal footing as students in those environments. So it's a really great way to help the staff connect better with the families in an organic environment. Strategy number 4 is build linkages across families and organizations. So this looks at the broader spectrum beyond just families to the community at large. And it starts with building collaborative relationships with local organizations. Find nonprofits or community or state or federally funded programs that support the populations that you work with or have similar missions or goals, and connect to them. Ask them how you can work together to offer better support to the families that you work with. Organize field trips or volunteer days to partner programs. For instance, if you build a partnership with a local public library, it can be more than a single day trip to a library, but rather maybe once a month where you have a story hour that the kids get to go to the library and the librarian reads to them and then helps them pick out books to bring back to the program. and read in the program over the next week or 2 weeks or month. Conduct projects at local organizations on site. Have volunteer days where the kids get to go out to organizations, nonprofits, community centers, and do things, create things, fix things, make things, read stories to senior citizens in a retirement community, or do art projects for them or with them. Um, Go to another local program that serves older children or younger children and have the kids get to spend some time interacting with each other and doing a group project. Go to an organization that serves kids that have a particular type of disability or special need and do a joint activity or project with them. Clean up a local trail or park. And there are so many different opportunities, so many different ways that you can connect to local organizations and help the kids feel like they're part of a community context. Another thing you can do is act as a liaison between families and schools. So if you're in an early childhood program, um, kids who are preparing to enter kindergarten, if they need an IEP, do better the earlier that IEP is in place. If you're in a school age program, the sooner the IEP is in place, obviously, the better for the child. So participating in IEP communications and meetings if possible. And even if not possible, at least helping the families make the connections within the school system to get that IEP in place and make sure that it is understood is very, very helpful. Another thing that's valuable is attending parent-teacher meetings. A lot of times, parents feel nervous and even ill-equipped to participate effectively in meetings in which they perceive everyone to be experts. So being there as a sort of facilitator and guide and another voice, another person who knows the child and has seen how the child interacts, can be very helpful to parents. Calling teachers regularly, making sure that you stay in touch with teachers from sending schools if the kids you serve are school age is also a very helpful thing to do. And anytime that there is a meeting between parents and any kind of professional involved in the child's care, um, helping to bridge the language gap can be very, very helpful. Now, this may be an actual language gap, like if the home family's primary language is not English. It may be that you can help slow the discussion down and make sure that the language that's being used gives the parents the highest likelihood of being able to understand what's being said. But it also goes beyond that. People with a lot of expertise tend to talk in a way that can be confusing to families that don't have that expertise. And having you there in the room to say, wait, hang on, I'm not really quite sure what you just said. Can you back that up for a second? Hearing you say that can make parents feel comfortable, like they also have a right to say that. And therefore, your presence can really help bridge that gap. And help parents develop advocacy skills. Help them to understand that their children have rights. There are supports that they are entitled to within the community and within the school system as they prepare to enter the school system or as they navigate through it. Help parents develop some of those strategies. Help them figure out who to talk to and what rights their child might have so that they can more effectively advocate on behalf of their children. Some concrete ways to build linkages across families and organizations. First, encourage parents to help you figure out resources in the community that you can connect to. Instead of just trying to figure out for yourself what those resources might be, a lot of families are already using some of these resources. So ask them to have a voice in the program. Create that parent leadership pathway for family engagement, and at the same time get a list of resources to connect to and to support program activities with. You can also ask a teacher from the local public schools to come talk to parents about grade level expectations or IEPs or developmentally appropriate activities or whatever needs to be discussed. So again, if you're supporting children in an early childhood setting, inviting in a kindergarten teacher to start talking to parents early about kindergarten readiness, especially because that's becoming such a key topic on the education scene that even parents of infants and toddlers are going to want to hear what the steps look like between birth and kindergarten readiness. And for school age programs, having the teachers in the schools that serve the kids come out and talk to the parents about what the school expectations are, what the curriculum looks like, explain the new curriculum frameworks. That can really demystify things and start to create a sense of openness and connection and support. You can also invite a family advocate to come in. Family advocates help parents or caregivers to identify and obtain the supports that children need and have a right to in their community and in their school system. So having a family advocate come out and just speak to families about what advocacy looks like can build that awareness and also help the families to see that there are other resources out there for them. And then offering to attend those meetings, the parent teacher conferences, the IEP meetings, any kind of meetings where families feel like they need the support of your voice and your trusting relationship. Making yourself available, if at all possible, to go to those meetings can go a long way to linking your program up with both the families you serve and the community organizations that also serve those families.